He is humiliated. He thinks to himself, this cannot get any worse. It couldn't. As soon as I find that list, here it is. 10 reasons, 10 ways that it could get worse. 1, my pants could fall down around my ankles. 2, when they did, everyone would see that I have a rash on my inner thigh from the new laundry detergent that my mom tried out. 3, I could start foaming at the mouth for no apparent reason. 4, the foam from my mouth could dribble down my shirt past the rash on my thigh and land in a puddle on the floor. 5, I could slip on that saliva puddle on the floor, fall down, knock myself out, and in front of everybody be unconscious. 6, while I was unconscious, my tongue would fall out of my mouth, showing everyone the mushy cream cheese and jelly on toast breakfast that has molded itself, McKelty style, who is the bully in my class, to every little crevice on my otherwise pinkish tongue. 7, they would call the paramedics, who would refuse to give me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because they saw the cream cheese and jelly on my tongue. 8, I would die right here in front of everyone in my class. 9, which is what I wanted to do in the first place when Miss Adolph made that announcement. So the answer is 10. No, it couldn't have gotten any worse. That's one of his lists. Now, thank you. All right, now. So, he has an argument with his dad. I had this argument with my father. It came out of me like a rocket. He says, Dad, if you just let me do one problem right here in the house. You know, he got a B. He didn't get a B+, but his father said, we made a deal. A deal is a deal. You only got a B, not a B+. You cannot be in the play. He said, Dad, if I do one problem right here in front of you, and I get it right, that will make it a B+, and then I can be in the play, right? Even his sister Emily, whose pet iguana she wears like a scarf around her neck, even she was on his team. The father said, okay. He made that problem, he did it, he got it right, he could be in the play. While he couldn't be in the play, McKelty took over the lead. McKelty the bully. McKelty. Oh, he was angry that he had to give up the part now for Hank. It's the day of the play. The director of the play is DeVore. Not Mr. DeVore, just DeVore. He directs off Broadway. Very off. Ladies and gentlemen, DeVore said in a voice that was so big it flew up to the ceiling and bounced off the walls before it landed in your ears. I invite you to come with us now to the ancient land of Siam, where we find the king has hired Anna, an English tutor, to instruct the children in the ways of the Western world. DeVore wiggled his fingers behind him, and that was a cue to Ashley to start raising the curtain. DeVore exited stage right. Well, maybe it was stage left. Don't ask me. I have no idea. Okay, the point is, he exited and came to stand in the wings in case we needed him. As the curtain went up, I looked out of the audience. Wow, there were a lot of people. You could hear all the parents' video cameras humming all at once. I sat in my throne on the edge of the stage, frozen like a pineapple on a stick. Okay, Hankster, you've got the first line. Now, come on. Take it away. Speak. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Heather was standing with her suitcase ready to come in as soon as I spoke to her. Come on, Hank. Speak. It's your line. Be my guest anytime you're ready now. Again, nothing. I glanced over at Frankie, who was my best friend, standing in the wings. Heather was waiting for me. Luke Whitman was picking his nose. He was waiting. Nick McKelty stood in his elephant boy costume, holding the door open for Anna to come in anytime I thought it was time to speak. The kindergarten kids who were playing my children were scratching their bodies. They were giggling. One waved to his mom in the front row. Welcome to my palace, Frankie announced to me. That sounds familiar. I wonder what... Oh, that's right. It's my first line. That's why it sounds familiar. I opened my mouth and out it came. Welcome to my palace, Anna. I finally said, yes. I was off and running. This wasn't so hard. My dear Anna, you must be so tired from a long journey. Oh, I was on a roll now. I was acting up a storm. It was fun. I'm honored to meet you. I'm honored to meet your highness, Heather answered. And there were the words coming out of her mouth, just like they were in the script, just like they rehearsed. Look at us now. Oh, wow, we were both acting. Hey, elephant boy, I said to Nick McKelty, take Anna's suitcase. And then, all of a sudden, Heather turned to Nick McKelty, handed him the suitcase. He was supposed to take the suitcase and lead her off stage. But being the big ham bone that he was, he didn't do anything he was supposed to do. Let me take your suitcase to my assistant, he bellowed. And he turned to Luke Wickman, and he threw the suitcase. Luke still had his fingers in his nose. It hit him like right in the stomach, knocked him over like a bowling pin. The audience laughed. The board did not laugh. I saw him standing in the wings. And if you ever wondered what a human being looks like just before his face explodes, leaving only his ears attached, that was the board. He yelled under his breath at McKelty. It was supposed to be a warning. McKelty thought he was giving him a compliment. I wasn't sure what to do. But since DeVore said the play must go on, I leapt off my throne. I walked to the center of the stage. I bowed goodbye to Anna, hoping that Heather would take the cue, improvise, bow goodbye to me, and then leave with Luke Whitman. But as we know, she's tall and not a very good improviser. I turned to face her. I bent over to bow. And all of a sudden, the next thing I knew, I was standing there next to McKelty. Here, my king, let me help you with that. Help me? With what? We didn't rehearse this. Before I knew what was happening, he grabbed the end of the gold cord that was holding up my pants. He tugged it with all his might. I started to spin like a top. For the first time in my life, I knew how my dog Cheerio felt when he chased his tail. When I stopped spinning, I was clear across the stage. I noticed a cool breeze floating across my legs. I reached down and felt around for the gold cord. It wasn't there. I looked down and realized that my golden pantaloons had fallen down and were lying in a heap at my feet. The only thing between me and the audience were my polka-dotted Mets boxer briefs. I was in shock. DeVore was in shock. Mr. Rock stopped playing the piano. He was in shock. The only face that I could pick out in the audience was Miss Adolph. And believe me, she was totally in shock. She put her program on her head like a hat covering her eyes with the pages. I looked over at Frankie, who was standing in the wings. I thought maybe he was going to help me. He just stared at me. I looked over at Ashley, and I thought maybe she would bring down the curtain to end this horrible embarrassment. She must have been in shock, too, because she just stared at me. Everybody was staring. And there I was, standing with my pantaloons around my ankles. Should I step out of them? Should I run away? Should I bend over? No, I think that bending over is not a good choice. So I just stood there. And suddenly somebody's little brother in the front row screamed out, "Hey, Mom! Look at that! He's got the same underpants I do!" The audience roared with laughter. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see that DeVore had dropped to his knees. He was holding the cape over his eyes. I think he was crying. No, he was sobbing. Nick McKelty was the only one laughing. The golden cord that was once holding up my pants was now in his grubby hand. And all I could do was wave.